Ate another 10, reviewing another 10. Let's do this shit.
I'm so fucking awesome. I'm so awesome. I'm so fucking awesome.
Starting us off, we have... Okay, how do you pronounce this? And I don't just mean how do you pronounce it, I mean, what is the most common practice in this situation? I think basically anyone outside of Korea knows this word as Bulgogi. When you walk into Bulgogi and sit down, the server welcomes you by saying, "Welcome to Bulgogi." But in Korea, it's pronounced Bulgogi. So what do you do when there are more people on planet Earth pronouncing it incorrectly than correctly? Who's right? Anyway, I've had a hard time finding any decent Asian food here, so bulgogi was a nice change of pace. Sure, it's a watered-down version of Korean food, mostly relying on things Americans are more familiar with, like, well, bulgogi, kimchi, Korean fusion, and an assortment of dishes that more closely resemble American Chinese or Japanese food. And sure, they make a Korean cheesesteak that makes my eye twitch as a native Philadelphian, but their food has something that's lacking in most other Asian restaurants around here. Flavor, spice, something other than corn syrup. They have an abundance of sauces to try and they're all pretty spot on. And their prices are shockingly reasonable. I feel like if this place opened up in the Pacific Northwest, everything would cost twice as much. So I can't recommend this place enough. I'd like to see them lean into Korean a bit more, maybe do some tteokbokki, fish cake, or hell, a Korean corn dog. But for what it is, it's good for almost anywhere, but outstanding for where they are. 8 out of 10.
What is happening to me? I don't wanna live.
Carl's Jr., Hardee's, Cardee's? Whatever. I always think of Hardee B's as a 5 for 10 burger joint, meaning you end up paying $10 for a burger that's only worth 5. It's a fast food chain that relies on amnesia to attract customers because you go there, order, and when you go to pay, you suddenly remember how overpriced this shit is. But by then it's too late to back out of the transaction, even though it would be really funny to just pull up to the window, and when the cashier says $24.83, you just say nope and drive away. But since you're too much of a pussy to do that, you pay the amount that they say, take your food home, and that's when you remember that their burgers are barely above the microwave cheeseburgers you find at a gas station. I went to Harl's Juju just to review it in a part of Conway that may have been haunted. I didn't recognize anything there, but my wife wrote me a letter saying she was waiting for me there even though she died 8 years ago. Anyway, it's not even that Harl's Juju is that bad, but especially here in Conway, with 7,000 other burger options, Carlo Hojo's is not worth your time. 4 out of 10.
I'm so fucking awesome. I'm so awesome. I'm so fucking awesome.
Alright, I've talked copious amounts of shit about every 2-bit dog shit Chinese takeout spot from here to not here. So how will Panda Express, a corporate, sanitized, watered-down chain version of this format, fare? Surely if the locally owned Chinese restaurants in Conway are terrible, something like Panda Express must be infinitely worse, right? Wrong, motherfucker! It's better. It's genuinely better than Jade China, better than Wrong Chinese, better than the other 10 I forgot to mention. And before you accuse me of being a Caucasian abomination, I know my shit. There's a little Chinese spot called Sizzling Wok at the food court in a mall in Maryland. It's aces. There's a literal hole-in-the-wall takeout joint called China One next to one of the last remaining video rental stores in existence in southern Delaware, where the owner's kids are usually doing their homework at one of the tables. It's incredible. I've had plenty of great Chinese takeout from Baltimore to Portland, so when I say that Panda Express is genuinely better than most of what you have here in Conway, you can take it to the bank. Or don't, I don't give a fuck. Is Panda Express good? Hell no. But it's serviceable. It's better than most of this other shit though. Shout out to Mulan, they're pretty legit. Panda Express, 5 out of 10.
I don't wanna live.
The Tokyo House is a Chinese buffet that's technically outside of Conway, but I wanted to review it because it was particularly hilarious. You know how a lot of Chinese buffets have some sushi? Maybe you partake in it, maybe you don't. But for me, there's something about sushi where it's like, if I eat it, I want it to be from somewhere that is dedicated to just doing sushi. I don't want to get sushi from a place where it's like, oh yeah, we also dabble in sushi. So I don't get sushi from, say, the grocery store or Jiffy Lube, but I trust a sushi restaurant because if they can't do that correctly, they wouldn't be in business. What makes the Tokyo House weird is that it's a Chinese buffet, but the sushi is the only thing worth going there for. It's hard to explain, but the actual Chinese food is what seems like the half-assed afterthought. They don't even have a buffet. They just put up some tables and heating lamps and bring out some serving platters of random Chinese foods. Then they have this much nicer area where people are making sushi. It's like stepping into Bizarro World, like a gas station where the soda machines dispense gasoline and the gas pumps dispense Mountain Dew. Oh, and the sushi isn't good either. In fact, it's about on par with what you would get at any other Chinese buffet. So it's not even good by Bizarro World standards. 3 out of 10.
I don't wanna live.
I have never even once thought about trying a Wingstop because its promotional material doesn't give off any attractive vibes. They're like Buffalo Wild Wings, only Buffalo Wild Wings markets itself as a place to visit and drink and watch the game, which means Wingstop is essentially like getting B-dubs delivered. So it's for people who want to get B-dubs delivered but don't want to get B-dubs delivered, even though you can also get B-dubs delivered. Yeah, I don't know guys, that sounds like a pretty niche market. To their credit, Wingstop is less expensive than B-dubs, but their food is also objectively worse. Essentially, they're slinging the same sauces, but the chicken is noticeably lower quality, and also their sauces are noticeably blander. So they are the one-ply toilet paper of wings. I went with garlic parm, and you know how parm has that tinge of bitterness that's not completely dissimilar to vomit? That's what it tasted like. Sometimes I look at a business and I can't imagine why it even exists. That's Wingstop. I've never thought about them, never heard anyone anywhere mention them, and if you're an investor, you might want to get out now because nobody gives a fuck. 4 out of 10.
I don't wanna live.
Level Ground Coffee finally opened up downtown. I had my eye on it because I'm always looking for good coffee spots and places to write and work, but I think this place needs more time because they don't seem to be ready for prime time. I went in there to get a drink and they told me they only have one size cup. Alright? Not sure how you can open a coffee shop and not have different sizes for your drinks. I mean, look, Shadrack's will give you a goddamn paint bucket sized one, and that feels like an illegal amount of espresso. But the other thing that seemed kinda off was the store itself. Let me be clear on this because whatever religion you are is cool with me, and I mean that. I'm genuinely happy for you if your faith brings you some sort of contentment and happiness. But also, I just want a goddamn cup of coffee. Again, when I go to Shadrack's, they're playing Christian music, and my understanding is that they're run by Christians. But at Level Ground, the Christianity is turned up to 11 because not only are they playing Christian music, the decorations are Christian, and they're selling some sort of Christian books. The sort of books that you would think were pushing some kind of multi-level marketing scheme if you didn't know it was related to Christianity. It's just weird, and that would be true of any religion or anything. Just because something is really important to you doesn't mean your customers will be just as receptive to it. Some people will be put off. And if your business plan is to only cater to those that aren't, well, best of luck to you, but that just isn't for me. 4 out of 10.
I'm so fucking awesome. I'm so awesome. I'm so fucking awesome.
Recently, we went to the Wendy's that's next to David's on 1200 and got in line for the drive-thru. While in line, we watched an employee come out and throw a trash bag into the dumpster, which sent a bunch of cockroaches scurrying out from underneath said dumpster. We then drove away. Recently, we visited the Wendy's on Oak Street and, after a thorough inspection, got some food. Don't get me wrong, this part of Conway is no picnic either. It's by the Kroger known in some circles as the Krogetto, and is the single worst grocery store I have ever seen in my life. Every time I go there are lines that go halfway to the back of the store, with 20 self-checkout stations and only 3 are open. This store is run like it's guided by the philosophy, fuck you, you're gonna buy shit from us no matter what. So we're not paying anyone and we're making you do the work, you piece of shit, fuck you. Anyway, where was I? Oh yeah, Wendy's is like the bizarro Hardee's, in that you go there and they're always better than you remember. Things taste fresh and hot and not like they came from a microwave. We went there because the wife swears by the spicy nugs, and even though I'm not really a big fry guy, Wendy's are pretty blessed. For fast food, 6 out of 10.
I'm so fucking awesome. I'm so awesome. I'm so fucking awesome.
When I first moved here, one of the first things I did was seek out a dependable barber. Shout out to Handsome John's, by the way. The first time I went there, I immediately started grilling them on local places to eat, and my barber made it a point to tell me that he got food poisoning from original fried pies. That just kinda stuck with me, but then I remembered that I ain't no bitch, and if I end up pooping myself, they're my pants and I have a washing machine. So let's find out. And yeah, it was pretty decent, but more importantly, I had an epiphany on the nature of cheeseburgers. So I get this cheeseburger and it's decked out with all the trimmings, and as I'm eating, I realize I wish that this burger had less stuff on it. I thought about what I really like in a cheeseburger, which is right in the name, cheese and burger, the taste of beef. It seriously had me questioning why people are racing to put so many other things on a burger, when all that does is make you taste the important things less. The perfect burger for me is stripped down, simple, it doesn't need a salad on top of 3 different aiolis, bacon, barbecue pork, and a fried egg. But here's the thing, when you take all that unnecessary junk away, you're left with a sandwich that businesses can't justify charging $15 for. So it creates a conundrum where if you want what in my opinion is the perfect burger, you have to pass up on all the free condiments and overpay. Anyway, OFP makes a decent burger. They're pretty similar to David's and their fries are slightly better. I'm not a dessert whore, so I didn't get anything sweet, but if I missed out on anything, let me know in the comments, and I'll say 6 out of 10.
I don't wanna live.
In a previous video, I mentioned that Insomnia Cookies opened up here and the local Cassie fans weren't too happy about it. Well, don't worry, ladies. You don't have anything to worry about. Insomnia Cookies is a national chain that specializes in delivering warm cookies, and my theory is that their business model is predicated on marketing to women who are on their periods, want something sweet, but don't feel like leaving the house. I can't imagine that would be a sizable enough market share, but here we are. Now, that might sound sexist. Now, this could simply be my taste because I've never had much of a sweet tooth, but Insomnia Cookies are way too sweet. They offer a variety of options: chocolate chip, chocolate peanut butter, oatmeal raisin, snickerdoodle, but all you really get from any of them is sugar. And this speaks to my real problem with Insomnia Cookies, the guilt. You are paying someone money to drive to your house and bring you cookies while they're still warm. That sounds like a service only provided to the British royalty or Mariah Carey. So you eat your still warm, entirely too sweet cookies, and think about how you still have student loans and haven't properly saved for retirement, and 3 out of 10, this is stupid.
I don't wanna live.
First off, shout out to the Conway, Arkansas Reddit community for being receptive, positive, and supportive of these videos. Also for giving me a bunch of recommendations that I will get to. Starting now with Tacos for Life. Okay, so for those who don't know, I think tacos are conceptually stupid. They don't hold food all that well and are a product of people trying to make a very inexpensive, basic bread. That doesn't mean I look down on people who eat them, just like I don't look down on people for being poor, but the idea of other people in the middle to upper class worshipping them as some paragon of gastronomic culture is idiotic. Real bread exists. Hell, real Mexican bread exists. It tastes better and they use it to make sandwiches. The only reason tacos are so prevalent is because we continue to hold them up as a cultural symbol. Tortillas have their uses: the quesadilla, the enchilada, the chimichanga, all fine examples. Tacos are fucking stupid. Okay, I'm getting off my soapbox. So I order Tacos for Life and I go with the 2 taco combo. T for L specializes in unique and interesting tacos, so I go with 1 classic and 1 regular. I got 1 fried chicken and 1 ground beef, and before you give me shit for getting ground beef and not carnitas or steak, the OG Tex-Mex taco was ground beef, so it's as classic as it gets. First, the ground beef. It was just as fucking stupid as my preconceived ideas imagined. It was loaded up with toppings, half of which ended up in the wrapper. You honestly could have made 2 tacos out of everything they crammed into 1 tortilla. So, as I've said, I ended up picking the sloppy bottoms out of the wrapper with my fingers and shoveling it into my mouth like a goddamn ape. Yay, tacos! The fried chicken taco didn't have this problem and was damn tasty. I just wish it wasn't in a tortilla. You can make some damn good fried chicken and some damn good sauces. Why not put them on a damn bun? Oh yeah, because you're called Tacos for Life. You have to because you're handcuffed to the concept like you're in a goddamn Saw movie. The combo came with a side and I went with queso, salsa, rice. Let's stop and think about those 3 words. Cheese, salsa, rice. That sounds like something tasty. The final product, however, tasted like nothing. Didn't taste like cheese and somehow didn't taste like salsa. Oh, and for good measure, the texture and appearance were like what you would get if you pureed a medical waste bin. I don't even know how you make cheese, salsa, and rice taste like nothing, but it was disgusting. Overall, this place can be filed under hard to gauge because it isn't for me. Maybe if I'm 20 years younger or a Reddit mod, this might be right up my alley, but for me, it's a 4 out of 10. Reviewing another 10 when I eat another 10. Keep throwing those suggestions down in the comments, and I'll see you when I see you.